3:33 here on LBC News. Good afternoon. Thanks for being with us on what is World Mental Health Day. Plenty of focus this year then on individual well-being as the coronavirus outbreak continues globally. Let's continue this conversation now. And I'm delighted to say joining us this afternoon on LBC News is actress Gemma Oaten, who is a patron and manager for the charity Seed. Gemma, it's great to have you on the programme this afternoon. Just first and foremost, just give us an overview. What does Seed do?
Hi David, lovely to speak to you. So SEED stands for Support and Empathy for People with Eating Disorders. So we're an eating disorder support service. And that was born out of my battle against anorexia when I was just 10 years old. And I nearly died 4 times over 13 years. And my mum and dad realised that there just wasn't enough help and support out there, not just for the sufferer but for the carer. So God love them. They decided to set up a charity, and it started off as a helpline in our front room, and it's grown to sort of help people in the Hull and East Riding area. But now we do out of service areas, and also nationwide, even as far as America. The need for mental health and eating disorder support is so massive right now, especially with lockdown and COVID-19. So that's what we do. We aim to bridge the gap between services that are sadly severely lacking right now.
And what sort of programmes and support do you provide?
Email buddy schemes, we have text buddy schemes, we have workshops, albeit online now, support groups. Again, we've had to sort of move over to the whole Zoom world. We also sort of offer, those, when I say bridging the gap, a lot of people understand that CAMHS are severely under a lot of pressure at the moment, and there's not enough funding from the government when it comes to helping those with mental health, not just in adolescents but in adults too. So what we try and do is help and support in medical risk. We're not a clinical service, but we try and help and support when a lot of these parents come to us just feeling absolutely destitute and lost in the fight for their own children. So we try and support in any way and means that we can.
If we're talking about eating disorders sort of specifically here, is this an area that you feel gets enough support, maybe enough awareness as well?
Not at all. I'm 36 now, so 26 years ago, my battle against anorexia started, and fortunately I've been able to recover, and I'm living my dreams in London, acting, and also now as the manager of Seed. But there still doesn't feel like there's much change. Only this week we've had a parent call us saying that her daughter has now been on the waiting list. She's lost too much weight. She's been cancelled for a CAMHS referral, and now she's in hospital on death's door. And it's brilliant. Today is so amazing because we're now talking more than ever about mental health and removing the stigma and starting to have conversations, which is integral when it comes to early intervention, which is so key within mental health, but especially eating disorders. But it's that next step now. We can keep talking, but what we need is help and resource to be able to do it. And I know that not just Seed, but there are thousands of charities out there that are so struggling because the need for mental health support is higher than ever, but yet we're not getting that money from the government to be able to deliver the services that are lacking.
Well, I was going to say, because from things that I've seen, generally speaking, investment in the conversation surrounding mental health very much is on the rise, and the conversation is continuing. It's ongoing. We have days like today, and of course the conversation needs to continue beyond today as well. But in your eyes then, am I right in thinking this isn't going far enough?
I don't feel like it's going far enough, not when it comes specifically to eating disorders. We had the whole government strategy about obesity recently, and that's all well and good, and I totally understand that, the need to keep people's physical health is important, but newsflash, obesity can also be linked to an eating disorder. An eating disorder isn't just about going on the scales and being low in weight. There's anorexia, as Freddie Flintoff highlighted recently. There's bulimia, there's overeating, there's so many different strands of an eating disorder. So if the government are going to plough in money to help the physical side, they also need to step up and help the mental health side of it. And I just feel like we're banging our head against a brick wall, and I won't stop banging my head against a brick wall. I won't give up, and there's so many people out there who are massive advocates for change. But we need more support of the government, especially when it comes to eating disorders. The magnitude of lockdown on people's recovery, on not being able to go to the supermarket without anxiety, not being able to get their safe foods, therapy stopping for many of them, also being around their loved ones who they've tried to hide the eating disorder away from. It's all become like a pressure cooker for so many, and yet we're still finding that we're still desperate for CAMHS to be able to be supported and for the government to step up and give more help and support and understanding of eating disorders. I know I haven't got a lot of time on your radio show today, but there are so many different assets and aspects to eating disorders that filter out into self-harm, obsessive compulsive disorder, and early intervention is key.
It's a shame we are actually running out of time, but of course I would just like to say no, it's fine. It's wonderful to talk to you, and believe me, we could sit and talk all day if we could. But of course, how important is it now more than ever that the conversation just continues, that we all do keep talking, we're expressing ourselves, we're letting each other know how we're feeling?
Yes, absolutely. I've gone on about some of the lackings right now, but the amazing thing that's happening at the moment is that people are using their words, and they're using their words to reach out and get help. And in this day and age, communication is so key. So anybody out there who's struggling, please know that you're not alone, and please keep talking and seeking support. There's so many people out there who are there for you.
Really appreciate your time. That's Gemma Oaten, patron and manager of the charity Seed, speaking to us here on LBC News, where the time is approaching 20 minutes to 4. The headlines are next.
LBC News.